You sound sick. Yeah, a little under the weather. Thoughts on the Jordan Peterson, the Canadian re-education camp? You know, it's so crazy. This is like the Rorschach's test of whether something is acceptable or not. So, if you're liberal, just take a ride with me. Let's say that a physician criticizes Donald Trump, and it's 2019, and says Trump is a poopy face and bad guy, et cetera, and he lives in Texas. And the Texas State Medical Board says this is inappropriate, unprofessional conduct, and you must attend 6 months of training, or otherwise you lose your medical license and your career. Would you be okay with that? You say, this is America, it's free speech. There's no patient here. There's no misconduct about the care of somebody. Let's be honest, you'd say that. So Jordan Peterson criticizes Trudeau and criticizes some other people over a social media account. Then a board says, well, despite the fact that this has nothing to do with the care of a patient, your conduct during the care of a patient, the doctor-patient relationship, the counselor-patient relationship, the use of confidential information, anything at all for psychology, you must now go through 6 months of re-education. Otherwise, you're going to lose your ability to practice as a psychologist. Now, at the end of the day, those comments they politically disagreed with. Why is it a professional committee is now deciding which political speech is appropriate amongst professionals? So now, for the future, if you are Canadian, you must be of a certain political persuasion if you're going to become a psychologist, because it's no longer a condition of your knowledge, your capacity, and your skill and empathy as a therapist or clinician that determines your ability to be an effective psychologist. It's also your politics. And if you don't have the prescribed government-approved politics, sorry, you can't practice. I don't want to live in a world where professional boards do this with lawyers, accountants, doctors, psychologists, or other people. I'd like to live in a world where the people who practice these things are free to have political opinions, social opinions that are diverse, whether they be conservative or they be liberal or communist or fascist, everything in between. Okay? We have every freedom to disagree with them. We have every freedom to disassociate with them. We have every freedom to think they're quacks or bad actors. But it is an insanely dangerous thing when you politicize a professional body who's there to ensure that the person practicing is practicing in accordance to the standards of care for patients, and say that standards of care now include no criticism of political regimes we agree with. Taking Peterson completely out of this. Now, apparently half the people, because they hate him, don't think that's a valid argument. They think it's totally fine. He's being a little crybaby. He should go for his re-education. But they missed the broader point of how dangerous it is to politicize a professional body, and whether it's been done by a conservative government or a liberal government or anything in between, it is never appropriate. And that's just the world we live in now. So, what happens when the pendulum swings to the other side?